Welcome to Bojo Dojo, and this is Bojo. So ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about some factoring problems. Alright, let's take a look at x squared minus 64. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at this, you should notice you have an even exponent, one minus sign, and 64 is a perfect square. So we're going to use the formula a squared minus b squared equals the quantity a minus b times it by a plus b. So what's the square root of x squared? That means a equals x. What's the square root of 64? The b value is 8. Fantastic. So ladies and gentlemen, with the difference of two squares, you get something minus something, something plus something. Those somethings are the a values. So we have an x, we have an 8, we have an x, we have an 8. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a difference of two squares. Questions? Awesome. Alright, let's take a look at another problem. So pretty much the same exact thing, but we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to make this an x cubed minus 64. Now you may be like, hey Bojo, this is a perfect square. This is a minus sign. Can't we do a difference of two squares again? Nah, this is a 3 instead of a 2. So 3 is not even, but it is divisible by 3. So ladies and gentlemen, we can do a difference of two cubes. So we can do a cubed minus b cubed. And we realize this equals a minus b times it by a squared plus ab plus b squared. Awesome. So when you take the cube root of a variable, you just divide the exponent by 3. So a equals x. What's the cube root of 64? Is it 8? Nah, that's the square root. The cube root is 4. So ladies and gentlemen, now we just substitute these into this equation. So this is the a value and this is the b value. And we just keep on going. So we get an a is x minus 4. A squared is x squared plus a times b, which is going to be, you might say it's x4, but we like to put the constant out front. So it's the coefficient, so it's going to be 4x plus 16. And 16 is just 4 squared. Questions on that? Cool. Way to go, everybody. I don't know why I'm asking if you have questions, because probably you won't be able to say anything, because it's not like it's a live stream or anything. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that was fun. That was a difference of two cubes. Let's do 27 plus 8y cubed. I see no difference here. So it's not a difference of two squares. It's not a difference of two cubes. Is there a GCF? Nah. So ladies and gentlemen, this actually becomes a sum of two cubes. This is a cubed plus b cubed equals, remember it's the same sign, so it's a plus, opposite sign, so it's a minus, and it's always positive at the end. Cool. So ladies and gentlemen, what's the cube root of 27? It is 3. Not because we divided 27 by 3. We asked ourselves, what times itself 3 times gives you 27? It's 3 times 3 times 3. What is the cube root of 8? 2. What's the cube root of y cubed? It is y. And now we just get to substitute in. This is the a value. This is the b value. So this is going to be 3 plus 2y times it by a squared, which is going to be 3 squared, so it's 9, minus ab, so 3 times 2y is 6y, plus b squared, which is a 4y squared. I'm so happy there's a glare here. Questions? And this is at 4. Thanks. Awesome. Looks pretty good. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Hit him again. So we have an x squared plus x minus 6. So now we have a trinomial with a leading coefficient of 1. So now we just go ahead with a diamond puzzle. What is the linear coefficient? Is it 0? That's right, it's 1. or not the 0. What is the constant? It's a negative 6. What plus what gives you 1, but multiplied gives you negative 6? It's going to be a 3 and negative 2. So what we want to do now is factor this all the way. So we have a something something and a something something. Notice this is just an x squared, so the square root of x squared goes x and x. And we got a 3 and a negative 2. So it's plus 3 minus 2. Remember, whenever you're factoring, you can always check your work by expanding these back out again, by distributing, or some people say FOIL. Alright, let's take a look at another one, a little more difficult. So it's another trinomial. So we have a 2x squared minus 3x minus 20. We should notice, though, that we have a leading coefficient of something other than 1. So I can't just ask myself, what plus what gives me negative 3, but multiply gives me negative 20. So what I want to do now is use a trick to kind of group these together. So the question now is, what plus what gives me a negative 3, but when I multiply, gives me the product of the quadratic coefficient and the constant, which is negative 40. So what plus what gives you negative 3, but multiply gives you negative 40? It would be negative 8 and 5. So we get 2x squared minus 8x plus 5x minus 20. We have 4 terms. Group has 4 letters in it. Maybe we should group these together. So what can I factor out my first group? 2x. And we have an x minus 4. What can we factor out of the second group? 5. So it's plus 5. And we have a x minus 4. So now I have this group and this group. Do they have anything in common? They have an x minus 4 in common. So we factor out an x minus 4. And we have a 2x plus 5. So we use this method so that we don't have to guess our way and check our way to actually factor this. Wow, question is on that. Once again, not sure why I asked that, because you can't ask me a question. Cool. Let's do one last one. So let's do another one, ladies and gentlemen, where we have a 2x squared plus 8x plus 6. Should I multiply this 2 and 6 together? Should I multiply my quadratic coefficient and my constant together? Nah, because what's the very first rule? The very first rule is to factor out a GCF. So we factor out a GCF, which is 2. We have an x squared plus a 4x plus a 3. Cool. Now we have a trinomial that has a leading coefficient of 1. So I can just ask myself, what plus what gives me 4, but multiply gives me 3? The answer is 3 and 1. So it's just x plus 3 and x plus 1. And we're done, right? Yay! Sweet! Nope. What about the 2? So remember, you always have to bring down your 2. Don't leave any man behind. We need him here. He was a part of the original problem. He should be part of the end problem. So don't let people quit on you. Make sure you finish all the way. Hopefully this helped you with factoring a little bit. Enjoy your fantastic day.